China is all set to weaponize water against India, spearheading the construction of the world's largest dam on the eastern rim of the Tibetan plateau. The project is expected to commence soon, as the Chinese government has given it construction approval on the 25th of December this year. Touted as the planet's biggest infra project, costing about $137 billion, the mega hydropower project will be situated on the Yarlung-Zangbo River, the Chinese side of the Brahmaputra River, in close proximity to the Indian border in Arunachal Pradesh. The construction of the dam was confirmed by the state-run Chinese Xinhua news agency, becoming a big concern for lower riparian nations including India and Bangladesh that could face triggered floods or long dry spells. Ni Nong Ering, a member of the ruling BJP and former MP, told the parliament earlier, quote, "We cannot trust our neighbor. You never know what they can do. They can either divert the entire river flow, drying up our Siang, or release water at once, causing unprecedented floods and havoc downstream," unquote. The report by Xinhua stated that the project is of great importance to advancing the country's strategy for carbon peaking and carbon neutrality and coping with global climate change, unquote. The colossal hydropower project will beat China in its own dam construction record, exceeding the power generation capacity of the Three Gorges Dam, regarded as the largest in the world currently. According to an estimate provided by the Power Construction Corp of China, the mega dam will generate nearly 300 billion kilowatt hours of electricity annually. In contrast to the Three Gorges Dam, which has the world's largest installed capacity to produce 88.2 billion kilowatt hours. The dam will be constructed after a section of the river which falls a dramatic 2,000 meters within a short span of 50 kilometers. Critics have suggested that such a massive contraction and weight of the water stored could destabilize a region that sits on top of tectonic fault lines, raising fears of the dam triggering earthquakes. The project also poses engineering challenges. At least 4 20-kilometer-long tunnels must be drilled through Namcha Barwa mountain to divert half of the river's flow to harness its power. China has been taming the rivers in Tibet to generate hydropower over the past several years. There have been major concerns in India over Chinese projects in the region. What makes the trust deficit even worse is that China has chosen the region of Tibet closest to the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. Now, as is CCB habit of salami slicing, Beijing also claims this Indian territory. The construction of the dam so close to the Indian border only raises further suspicion. Building a series of dams is said to transform a once fast-moving mountain river into a series of man-made lakes. Now, the risk is that even if one dam fails, a catastrophic chain reaction could potentially trigger the collapse of several dams, much like a tsunami of water. China is using water as a geopolitical tool to potentially manipulate water levels for irrigation, power generation, or flood control. Now, being a lower riparian state, India faces a major disadvantage, but probably Bangladesh faces even greater risk. Since its military occupation of Tibet in the 1950s, China has become the upstream superpower and is using hydropower projects as a geopolitical weapon to be wielded during war or even peace. The water diversion can also strain India's agricultural needs in the northeastern states and could cause the river to lose its silt and lead to a reduction in agricultural productivity. So how many dams has China built on the Brahmaputra River? Till 2023, China had built roughly 8 hydropower projects on the lower levels of the Brahmaputra. China's hydro hegemony in the name of strategic resources, national security, and shared natural resources for humanity has impacted millions of lives. Now just take a look at another one of the planet's great rivers. The Mekong River is a lifeline for 6 co-riparian Southeast Asian countries, which includes China, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. Countless studies and experts have shown how China is devastating the river and thus the economies of ASEAN nations, but Beijing simply ignores these concerns. So knowing all this, what is India doing to counter China's extensive water diversion scheme? Now, New Delhi too has proposed a mega 11,000 megawatt hydropower project on the Siang River in Arunachal's Upper Siang district. Now, firstly for hydropower generation, but also to guard against any China-triggered floods. Moreover, India is all set to construct the country's second largest dam at Yingkiong in the upper reaches of Arunachal Pradesh, which will be able to store around 10 billion cubic meters of water. Now, India will use the reservoir to maintain water security in case China builds structures to divert water from the Brahmaputra River. T.S. Mehra, a senior official in India's Federal Water Ministry, told Reuters earlier, quote, "The need of the hour is to have a big dam in Arunachal Pradesh to mitigate the adverse impact of Chinese dam projects," unquote. How else can India counter China's water wars? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.